Okay, let's start. First, I want to start with you. So everyone understands who you are. Can you please give us your name, age, and where you are from?
Okay. So my name is Nir Giat. I'm originally from Israel. I'm 53 years old, going to be this Friday.
The second thing is, what are you to the Hamas Republic? So, what role you fulfill in the Hamas Republic?
Okay, so basically, I'm the founder, but I was the investor. I came from real estate. What I do is real estate mainly. And I was an investor with the chef. And that's how we opened Homes Republic in the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, so what year that was?
That was 2013.
Had you had any more experience with businesses before, or was this the first time? Not specifically in restaurant industry, but any other kind of businesses. Because I mean, you were not too young. You were not 20 years old when you started the Hamas Republic.
Yeah, I had other experience with other businesses as an investor, partner, and of course, I did real estate for myself, buying and selling homes. The restaurant business, I never. When I was young, I had some small catering company.
Was it in the U.S. too?
The catering business, no, it was in Israel.
Hmm.
Other businesses, I had car wash. I had many businesses.
Okay, so you had some experience.
Yeah, yeah, but not to the extent of owning a restaurant.
So what does the Hamas Republic do? How would you define it?
Basically, let me. The Host Republic changed from the beginning. Let's.
Yes.
But if you want to know what Hummus Republic is my food, the food that I eat, the food that I love, which is the food that I grew up on. It's healthy, tasty, I think, and trendy right now. With all this health conscious that people have. And for me, it was just to show people how to eat better.
Yeah, I think that the company is pretty aligned with those ideas that are very popular and grew conscious in people. And you were mentioning just now that the Hamas Republic changed throughout the time. You first started it as a restaurant?
So how we started is we started with the chef. I was the investor. Had a chef, he's still a good friend of mine. He came to do some private event in my house, and then he asked me if I want to invest in his idea to open a restaurant. I told him that I would never open a restaurant, but I would be willing to invest in something that will be fast food, fast casual, that we can expand and grow. And that's basically what I was willing to put my money on. Because, at the end of the day, he's a chef, but to have an operation of restaurant that with complicated kitchen, complicated service and location and the size. And so it was too much for me. And I thought that to do something that can be big without me knowing what's it's involved with it. So we decided to go for it and we opened with the chef. And I was very busy with my real estate. So we bought partners that came from the retail business. So they used to sell retail with multiple locations. They had hundreds of locations of retail. And he is a chef that, worked at the restaurant. We started with 2 locations and then we had the third location even, and we saw that we don't see any number. And they had some kind of argument between the chef and the new partners. So the chef left. Of course, he left us with. He left nice. We still see him. We still meeting him, and we're going to his restaurant. But he left nicely with some money so he can open another restaurant. And we did not see any numbers. We used to see a lot of customer. We used to see a lot of traffic, but there was no money. There's no profit. And I was at the real estate, and the partners were supposed to run it with some other guy, another chef, and continue it. And then after 2 years, they realized that it's too complicated of a business. We burned so much money. And from my end, every time I used to put some more money into the business, and to the point that they kind of like gave up. And they said, you know what, we don't want to do it anymore. And now I'm with a business, no chef, no guidance, and no partners, and now I need to either lift it or close it.
Were you the only investor there?
I was me and my fund, my real estate partners.
Okay. You didn't really know about the industry. So you really
No,
needed somebody who knew about
nothing,
the
no,
industry.
nothing. I
Right.
didn't know anything about the industry. But I realize I know businesses,
Yeah.
so anyway, so I start learning and watching and understanding that basically, if I want to expand, I cannot. It's going to be very hard to grow as a corporate business. And to expand as a franchisor, we need to do many changes. The number one thing that is important in this business, in a franchise business, is a system and consistency. Consistency is that wherever you go, you here in the US or you're in Argentina, you have the same food and people know exactly what they get. And people get used to something. Basically, you always want to change and you always want to have some kind of ideas, but no, it's better that you have the same thing consistent than do some changes and trying to be the best chef. So people are not open to too many changes all the time. The other thing is that I understand that we need to have a system. So I went into my three stores, and for a year I left the real estate business and I started learning how to simplify this business. Because we used to basically make everything from scratch. Let me give you an example: shawarma. Okay, when you're making the shawarma, you're making the chicken shawarma, the big skewer, or the meat, that. So you're buying the raw meat, and then you spice it, you marinated it, and then you cut it, and then you put it on the skewer. So the process is so long, and you need to have someone that knows how to put it on the skewer. And after you know how to put it on the skewer, you need to have someone that knows how to put it on the grill and cut it right. So the whole messing around with the meat was too complicated. And think about it, it's like about 80 pounds on each skewer that if you basically get stuck in the middle of the day or towards the end of the day with no more meat, you need to bring another skewer, which is this size, and put it on the grill. And if you sold half of it, if you're mom and pop, you're basically doing something which is illegal. You put it back in the refrigerator, okay? Because you don't want to support this money. This is can be the whole profit the whole day. But if you're running as a chain, you're gonna have to throw it away because this is
Yeah.
something that your employees can close you down, because they can go and report it. So it cannot be. So this is one thing that we basically said, okay, so how am I fixing this? Now by fixing that, you know that you can basically eliminate so many other like the machine that cost you so. So my goal was to simplify this business to the point that anybody that can make a sandwich for himself can run this business. So I went to every station in this business, every food, and simplified. So basically, we used to have about 450 ingredients, and I'm talking about ingredients, I'm talking about from hummus all the way to toilet paper, okay? And then I cut it to 120. So
Wow.
yeah, just for the shawarma, we had about like 30 different spices. So we eliminate many things, and I cut the hours at the location from about 85 on average to 36. And then we did not need a high and expensive labor cost. Because if you bring a chef, if you bring a sous chef, if you bring a grill person, if you bring a butcher. And so I refined the process so it's going to be very simple. And then I open another location like that. So now I have the fourth location that runs. Now, this fourth location was operating in a business district, working 5 days a week, selling less money and making way more profit than the other three. So I realized that I made something right. Now, if I'm going to be in a good location, in better location, let's say, working 7 days a week, I can make even way more money and I don't have the headache. Less equipment, less square footage. The square footage we cut since we didn't have all the equipment that we used to have, we basically cut the restaurant's kitchen instead of 45 to 55% on average or from the whole restaurant, we cut it to 35%. So now you're basically paying rent where you're making money, not where you're making food. So
Yeah.
so in every aspect we touched and we basically refined it. Now, the difference between us and any other concept is, let's say, in the same segment even. it's very hard to refine it like us because many of the other companies that becoming franchise and all that, someone realized that this concept is very successful and they telling the restaurateur, which is the owner of the restaurant, okay, let me make you a bigger. So in order to make him big, they're multiplying and the same concept or the same thing because they are business people and they're not restaurant people, you know. So we build a franchise model business on the Mediterranean concept. So we don't have any other competition like that. Nobody is doing what we do. So every other, let's say, Mediterranean food is way more complicated than ours.
Is that something that you were thinking when thinking of all the system? Did you want to do something that was totally different than other franchises? Were you trying to find that? Or maybe you had another franchise chains as an example to create the system or to follow their steps in some sort of way? How was that?
Throughout my learning and understanding what do I need to provide to the franchisee, I realized it needs to be very simple. He should not be a restaurateur. First of all, profiling who is the one that's going to open. So when you learn that, you realize that the one that's going to open it is between the age of 45 to 55. It's a second career in his life. He's saying, you know what, I worked so many years in this kind of business, IT, name it, whatever, Uber driver, no matter what he used to do. And then he's saying, you know what, with all the pension and all the money that I have, I can be basically eliminated from my work. And then I need to look for a second career. So now I have money, I'm still young, maybe I can build something from one location to two locations to five locations, that I can have the American dream. Now, in order to do that, I cannot teach him to be a chef. It needs to be something very simple. Now, that's why the only franchise that most of the franchises that you have in the US, it's burger joints, you know, because you just
Yeah.
need to flip the burger or Subway that you need to put a sandwich with. It's very simple. Now,
Yeah.
all the other businesses like Chipotle and let's say Panda Express, these are corporate locations because it's very complicated to teach one person to know all that. Now, when he's even if he learned to know all that, think about he needs to train his employee to know that. Now, if somebody's
Yeah.
going to pay someone now to train someone, it's going to take you like 3-4 months until he's like at least comfortable with it. Now, the turn in this business, it can be like 3 to 4 months of people working, you know. Now, go teach someone to be a chef, and then he leaves you because someone else paying an extra 50 cents an hour the next door. Now you need to go back, and if somebody is missing, who's going to replace him, you know? So
Yeah.
you're always in a situation that you cannot eat. That's why Chipotle and all that places, they keeping their employees with higher salary, all the benefits and all that stuff, so they can be with them for many, many years, and they showing them what is the future until you're gonna own a location. So for me as a franchisor, I had to say, okay, you know what? People would want to have my concept because this is going to be the next trend, but I need to deliver it very simple because otherwise they won't be able to make money.
Actually, most of our customers do not have experience on any business before, or that's not a requirement for what we sell, right?
It's not a requirement. The requirement is if you can make sandwich for yourself, you can run this business.
Awesome.
And our training is very, very short. It's like 4 days training.
That's the thing about a franchise. I mean, you're selling them a system. They do not have to do or know everything about the industry. They just get trained, and we as corporate offer that service too as part of the franchise. That's awesome. And did you learn all this before you tried to open the fourth location, or was that something that you learned in the way?
Way before I opened the fourth location, when we had all these issues and obstacles, I was doing my research, but I was always learning what are the obstacles, what are the problems, what are we facing. Now, I tried at that time to explain it to my partners, but they were maybe too busy to run the business,
Yeah.
maybe too busy to listen. You know, everybody has his own opinion. So it's very hard to say stop and let's do it differently. And they were already tired, from the whole thing and still to take care of labor, So you see the reviews, somebody goes to one restaurant and it tastes completely different than the other restaurant, and it's like, and the
Yeah.
difference is 10 miles, so all this kind of stuff, because you have two different chefs and each one have his
Yeah.
own touch, They thought that the food is the important thing, and it's not the food. You have McDonald's, you have McDonald's and Subway. They are the biggest chain in the US. If you check, McDonald's never won the number one hamburger in the US. And Subway never won the number one sandwich in the US. It's not. It's not about the food. It's about consistency. It's about giving the customer exactly what he's expecting and make him happy and clean. And that's it. That's basically it,
What did you learn about the customers? What did they want? What were they looking for when they entered a Hamas Republic location?
At the end of the day, I think that in the big goal, they're entering, they're getting the food, but as much as we grow, I think what they will have to get, although it's so-called authentic food, they will need to get Americana. What I mean by saying Americana is the American standards for food. When you go to, let's say, Panda Express, Chipotle, which is Panda Express is Chinese food here, and Chipotle is Mexican. You won't see Asian people at the line, and you won't see Mexican people in the line of Chipotle. The American people, they want to have the experience of something that is authentic, or close to authentic, or different flavor, but they want to feel that they are in American standard facility, that the food is going to be clean, the restaurant is going to be clean, and the service is going to be American service. At the end of the day, mom and pop is not going to succeed for a long time. And it's grab and go, and they know that they have certain standard. Even if you're going to stop in I don't know, in China, you're going to land in China, you're going to land in somewhere that you are not familiar with the food, no matter where you are from, you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to eat the first bite in McDonald's because I know what I'm getting.
That always happens.
And later I'm going to check what else,
Yeah.
And if you're driving in nowhere, and then you see McDonald's, you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to stop there, I can get my coffee, I can get, that's the idea.
Yeah, you always prefer what you know, at least as a first option. Then you can think if you can try something else, but
Exactly.
So you were working with partners in 3 restaurants that were not making money, and then you started at the same time for the location. What happened next?
Okay, so now when I opened it, and then I realized that we're making way more money on this one. I realized that this is what it needs to be, because I built a franchise model, something that they can duplicate.
Only 1 month?
In 1 month, because I already made money. I did not have a chef. Labor cost was way lower. Food cost was unbelievably no waste, no nothing. I realized that this is how it needs to be. I went to the other 3 locations, checked the leases, gave them check on each one of them, and closed the deals that day.
Yeah.
The good employees I brought to the 3rd location and to the 4th location, and that's it. So in 1 day we closed the other 3 because the operation was different.
Yeah.
So it wasn't worth it to keep it, and no matter what, there was some kind of a difference between them, because same food, same name, but since I changed the process, you still feel the difference. So it's not going to be the same. So we said, okay, now we have something that is consistent, and we can just basically multiply it. We cannot just skip the other one, because as soon as we're going to change on the other 3, based on what we did in this one, people will start complaining, because the people are already ready to what they have. Okay, and I'll give you an example. Let's say we talk about dressing. So you have a dressing that you don't sell that much, okay?
Yeah.
But maybe every day 5 customers using this dressing. So now out of the 100, you have 5 customers that likes this dressing. For 5 customers, it doesn't worth it to make this dressing. That's right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so you're saying, okay, I'll stop. So I'm gonna have 5 complaints. The problem is that the people that come, they're coming every 2 weeks. Now you have 5 times 14. Now you have 70 people that complaining that they don't have this sauce. Multiplied by 3 locations, think how many people are going to start complaining. Now, but we change everything. It's the same items, but different flavor. Now it's not the same thing that they used to. So it's better to close it and start everything fresh from the new one that you built, than start explaining or telling people why we did it and how we did it. Just move on, you know?
And a lot of times, bad reviews or complaints have a bigger impact than good reviews. Or actually, good reviews sometimes doesn't even reach the platforms. So,
Exactly.
have you noticed that impact in which you noticed that you had to keep on doing something even though it was not worth it financially at the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we still here and there, you know, we're still doing stuff that are not making the same amount of money as they should do it, but sometimes you need to keep it, you know. We managed to eliminate the waste on that.
Okay.
Let's say not preparing that much, you know, maybe making them and present them in smaller balls or smaller portion, you know. So if it doesn't sell that much, you still have the option to whoever comes, but you don't throw that much. But the other thing that we learned is that whenever you want to put an item, you very need to consider it and check it before and test it before in one location. Because until you're putting something or making any changes, it really needs to have through a lot of thoughts, because whenever you put it, it can be very hard to take it out. So whenever we want to do something, it's either we're putting something seasonal that we can change it into a temporary thing,
Yeah.
and also, as we spoke earlier, we making sure that we are not have like cannibalism inside the department in the business, you know. So you don't have something that will take over another item that is more profitable, you know.
Absolutely. Because I mean, I was thinking that it might be hard to measure that. You just have to try and see what works, but not with something that might generate a big impact. Because as you were saying, you might get in some items, but not get them out then. Okay, so I want to compare the Hummus Republic to other franchises. What would you say are the key points that make the difference between the Hummus Republic, what you can get in the Hummus Republic, and other chains or food restaurants?
Generally speaking, the Mediterranean kitchen is that you have a lot of fresh ingredients combined with healthy spreads. I think it's a very healthy concept. Like if you're using oil, it's an olive oil, you know, and we barely fry. So I think that the Mediterranean concept, if people will step into it and will get used to the flavors, which are not that complicated, it's a very healthy lifestyle that you can have and enjoy. We almost have vegan options, you know, that you can feel full with vegan. So I think that this is the food of this millennium, you know what I mean? So I think the difference between us and all the other, now, as much as people will be educated and know that it's important for you to know to survive this world, you know, with all this junk and all
Yeah,
this.
and take care of yourself. Every time the food industry is doing so much trash, and we eat it without questioning ourselves.
Exactly. So, you know, you're eating other companies. It's a lot of this process. It's fried. It's not healthy, you know, especially here in the US. I don't know. I bet that in other places, it's still better standard.
I was thinking of how was the environment or the industry back then when you started in the industry? Did you notice any important changes or differences? How was the industry back then, and how is the industry now?
Okay, so I can tell you that the difference is that when we started, we were aiming to people from the age of 19, 20 to the age of 35, 40. Okay, it was students that, you know, they start learning about their health. Maybe, you know, they want a day, they're going to the gym. They start learning about the Mediterranean diet. People that a little bit more educated. Now I can tell you that we have kids 13, 14, you know, that will definitely gonna come and eat a bowl with falafel or with shawarma, with salad and all that, over a hamburger, you know. They
Yeah.
already educated, they already know, they already understand that they need to have some fresh vegetables, and not just rice and meat. They need to mix everything together. So I think right now people are more open. The range is way higher. It's, I think, from let's say, give and take 11, 12 to 60, 70 that are coming and eating. It's
Yeah,
going
you
up.
you you did
Yeah.
earn that market, but also I believe, as you said, that there was an expansion in that consciousness about
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
food. And how was the impact in 2020 with the pandemic? What were the challenges that the Hamas Republic had to face?
So we opened in 2013, as I told you, 3 locations. It took us until 2018. 2 years you're walking, and then you're thinking, okay, so I need to do the changes, and then you're building a new restaurant. So until 2018, mid 2016, we opened the franchise board. I wanted to see a full year of operation to see if I can franchise it. So mid 2017, I was okay. I have a year, numbers are good. Now let's think about franchising. So it took us another few months. Okay, what do I need in order to franchise? Right now, I know that I have a concept that I can franchise. Now we need to learn, okay, how easy to franchise, how complicated it is, what do we need, what are the laws, what are the requirements, and the paperwork and the legal stuff.
Yeah.
So mid 2018, we had the first document that we can, okay, now we're ready to franchise. And then pandemic hit a year later, So,
Yeah.
so in the pandemic, so we sold few franchises, but during the pandemic, I stopped everything because first of all, you don't know when you're going to be back to normal.
Yeah.
California is very strict. When you're going to be back to normal, what is going to be the rent? Who's going to build the location for the other people? How are you going to sell? How much money are you going to spend in order to promote your business and tell someone, okay, listen, you should open in a year, or it was very hard. It was. So for 2 years we basically put it on hold. We left the offices. We had small corporate office that we moved out, and I worked from home. I did more real estate at that time. I kept my core people, or 3 people at that time that were with me. And we waited, we waited. We did some calls. Whoever was part of us, so-called, we kind of helped them out. And then after pandemic, basically start seeing that we know better, and we brought Yossi with us. Is Yossi. He's amazing. And
The recent acquisition, for everyone listening, is it's a new CEO. He's been here for 2 years now.
I think he started May 2022.
What were your needs back then when you decided to have somebody in?
I know Yossi from high school. Before we partnered with friends, And Yossi used to be more responsible than me, or more organized than me, and less risk taker. So basically, he's balancing me, And I need it, I know what I'm missing. I love him as a person, and you have all what needs to be a CEO. So he's not just a friend. He came from tech business. He was a leader there. He knows how corporate working. He knows the structure, and I know that he always likes to learn. So I know that every time that we're gonna have something new, like the AI that hit on us, so he's gonna be always in the front line on that kind of thing, because this is his personality from the time that we were 14, 15. I know that he always looks towards all this gadget, when we were young. So I knew that I'm gonna have someone that is on top of the thing, and I always gonna have a back, responsible back to cover or turn off the fires that I'm lighting.
And he keeps on doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yossi is awesome. Yeah. And what is your role now in the company? Because I can testify that even though he's the CEO, you're always there looking at everything. What are your personal interests now in terms of the company, of what's going on? What do you look specifically at all the time?
Okay, I'll tell you. I think. Okay. So Yossi is definitely the CEO. He runs everything. I think that I'm more of the compass. I know the direction, and I see mountain like hills, So I'm not afraid to move forward, and I think this is something that needed. There's so much to deal with on ongoing basis in the business. Now, Yossi is there for that. Okay? In everything, from sales to marketing.
Yeah.
And we're running 2 businesses at the same time. We're running them. franchise business, which is expanding, and we're running the franchisees business, which is making sure that they doing their job right and doing sales and making money and succeeding. So it's two businesses parallel
Yeah.
that Yossi is basically managing with all that's involved with it: marketing, branding, customer relation, everything. So he has so much stuff to do with an ongoing basis. Now, I have the privilege to stand aside and give my advice from someone that knows the business, but is not dealing with too
Yeah.
much things. So I can maybe give the right advice sometimes because you're sometimes trapped with the day-to-day things.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Yossi would not get there, but I think being so busy with other stuff, I think I have the free time to give this solution.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, okay, always pushing to the expansion, to the next level, to the next thing, because it's very easy to keep what you're doing all the time and put aside the next step. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
basically that's what I do.
Yeah, I guess you complement both of you complement each other in that sense. But because of the roles that you yourselves assign to yourselves in how the structure nowadays is.
Yeah, but
Uh,
don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm doing it by myself here. It's like
no, no,
I'm
no,
going
absolutely.
to his office and we talk about it. I'm the one that will, okay, free your time to let's do it together. You know what I mean? And he's
Yeah,
basically leading he is leading it at the end of the day.
absolutely. I mean, and that's something that do not only see in you guys, but also in the team. Because when we have team meetings, that's basically the way it happens. We're all in the same level and we all can give suggestions, give opinions, and basically team meetings are for that, to put everything that's going on in the table, and if somebody has something to say, if there are some problems that we have to fix, we fix them there, with everyone listening, with everyone being aware of that, and with everyone from their independent roles in the company giving their opinions. And what do you think are the values? Now I'm speaking about the organizational structure and specifically in the team, the values that you think are important for the team and those that you would like to keep for the future, because we are in the middle of an expansion, and in that expansion period I think it's important to know what's good to keep. So what would you say are the values? What do you want in the people that work for the team, for the Hummus Republic franchising?
So I'll tell you, I have a test to myself with everybody that works with me. And that's for years. It's like I need to make sure that all my employees knows that if they get a flat tire in the middle of nowhere and at 4 a.m. they call me, they know that I'm gonna be there for them. Okay? They need to know that. This is part of me to them that they know, and believe me, it happens. At the same time, I wish that I can expect no less from them. And whatever I have here in my office right now, I know that I have it. Okay? Now, we're growing and we might won't have it later on.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of the natural growth of a business. But the core people are going to be there, and that's basically what I'm expecting. Now, if each one of them will have the same thing in his team, then we know that we have a great business. Now, this is a hope. If it's going to happen, I don't know. But we completely different than any other business like us. That's for sure. We are completely different because we grow people out. They grew up and they're working with us for years. We all feel like we have one mission to grow this brand, to grow this business and expand. In other businesses, they taking a concept of someone. They take the soul from the business, and they putting corporate people and they're running the brand. If it works, it works. If not, it goes. So
Yeah.
we're not there. I hope we're never going to be there. And we're different. We're good.
I guess when you were building the system, there were problems coming from all over. So, did you ever think, or was there any point in which you thought, hey, I don't think that's gonna work, or you started adopting? Was there any critic situation like that, or was it really something that you always trusted on and that you thought that it would work in the long run?
So definitely, I say that if one day I'm going to write a book, I'm going to call it Sweat. It was very, very, very hard, honestly. I had days that I would say like, why did I get into this business? I think, I hope, let's say, that I did all the mistakes possible. I made so many mistakes, crazy mistakes. And I got from everybody that it's not going to work. But I knew that I can make it, and I believed in it. And I had two boys at that time, Liam and Eli. And they were questioning, they're smart. They would ask me questions. And at that time, and at their age, which is teenage, I knew that I cannot quit. I cannot show them that I'm quitting. And I need to be a strong person to proceed and make it happen and prove everybody that we can do it. Yeah, because it was easy to give up, but it was harder to win. And I think we were in a winning end.
You are, absolutely, you are. So just to wrap it up, and I don't wanna make you waste any more time. How do you see the Hamas Republic in 5 years? Let me split that in two questions. What would you like it to be, and where do you think it will go? Because it might be different. Maybe expectations, higher expectations, and then something that you see that's going to happen in 5 years.
In 5 years, I want to have more than 500 locations. More than 500 locations. Right now, we have Kava as a corporate that is leading this segment. They came with a lot of money and they're trading. They are 10 times bigger than us. Our expansion can be faster than them because they're corporate. I think that in the franchise business, in our segment, I think we can be the number one. Let's say it's a franchise. So if Kava will be the leader, I think we're going to be right behind them. I think we can expand more than them later. My actual dream is to have many locations, but have some kind of culture inside. It's very hard to have culture when you have franchisees, you have different people
Giving their opinions and trying to do what they want.
Exactly. So really grow to police them right, to make it the right way.
Yeah.
Build all strength, all the infrastructure that we need in order to make sure that it's going to be a solid business and to grow strong. So we need to find the right people that's willing to do it. Yeah, that's basically it, but grow, I think.
Maybe those are the next challenges, to prepare the system for a big expansion. And so you make sure that the Hamas Republic keeps its culture, its values, all that we talked about today.
Exactly, and that's what we're doing right now. Honestly, yeah, we're building this infrastructure, and you say, yeah.
Perfect. Hopefully, I'll be there to see it too.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Nir, that was basically all. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I hope I was helpful for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nir. Have a great day.